This week on 3D Printed Soup, second part of the Mandalorian. We built it, we've sanded it, now we've got to paint it and weather it. That's right after this. Hello fellow makers, welcome back to 3D Printed Soup. This week we are going to finish off the Mandalorian helmet build we started last week. It's turned out very nicely. So, let's get on. We've sanded, we've primed, now it's time to paint and weather. Before we do that, however, thanks to everyone who's liked and subscribed. There are absolutely hundreds of you now, literally. We're at 850, so that final 150 stretch to get to 1,000. What happens at 1,000? Pretty much nothing, but hey, it's nice to have life goals, isn't it? At least that's what my guidance counselor told me at school. Yeah, because he was right. Now, I've had a look at some analytics and it turns out loads of you aren't subscribed. Shame on you. Clicking on my videos and not subscribing. It's time for you to repent. Drag your cursor down, click on the subscribe button and all is forgiven. And hey, while we're there, why not click the bell button as well so you know when I next upload a video. Now, let's scrub, let's base, let's paint and let's weather and make ourselves an awesome Mandalorian helmet. This is the way. Okay, way before we start painting this helmet, it's really important to start with a flat surface. So we're going to go over it with some rough sandpaper and then some slightly fine sandpaper and then some really fine sandpaper just to make sure we get as many of the layer lines off as we can. Although I imagine with this one, as it's my first build, there's going to be a few showing through. So please forgive me if you can see a few layer lines on this. In the meantime, okay, so let's give this a scrub, get rid of any excess filler and make sure there is no build lines. Seeing that I printed this on several smaller printers, I haven't done it in one section. If you watched the first video, you'll know this. So I've had to basically glue all these parts together. So there are a few lines here that need to be removed. Then once that's done, I will then prime it again. And then I will move on to a second sanding. Okay, after priming, we have now gone on to the second sanding. And yeah, there's a few drips and drabs here that need to be removed. And once that's gone on, we will then base and paint with silver. When you are spraying and sanding plastic, please make sure you wear a respirator or face mask. You don't want to breathe in paint fumes. You do not want to breathe in the powdered plastic because, yeah, that's a quick path to getting respiratory troubles. So, yeah, please be very careful. Now, here are the earpieces that I printed out to go on the side of it. Going to give this a nice base coat, and then when that's done, we can move on and start weathering this thing and make it look a little bit more worn. Yeah, the base coat on this is a lovely silver, but it really makes all the lines and build lines stand out. Plus also it just looks new, and that's not what you want from a bounty hunter's helmet. So we're going to go over this with some very watered down black acrylic and bring out all of the details, and then we're going to wipe it down with some kitchen towel to make sure that it all looks fantastic. The cheek sections of the helmet also are a lot darker than the rest of it if you look at the some of the production photographs and also some of the scenes in the Mandalorian. So I'm going to darken this down with quite a bit of black acrylic, and then I'm going to wipe it off with more kitchen towel just to give it that nice sort of shadowed undersunk sort of feeling to the cheek parts of the helmet. The kind of top of the spine part also needs to be darken down. With that done, it's time to add some dirt to this thing because it looks far too damn clean. So I'm going to use some skeleton horde, which is a contrast paint to basically add some nice brown effects to this and get some sort of dirt in there because this guy's been hanging around on a desert planet, and so he's going to have lots and lots of sand bits attached to it, and yeah, we need to get all these sections encrusted in grime and nastiness. Don't be afraid to use your fingers here. Put it on with a brush, and then to get your hands in there and just rub it all in. Right, now I'm going to measure the eye slots because I need to use this car visor, which I'm going to take the netting off. I'm going to use that to cover the inside of the helmet so that the eye and mouth and your face parts are covered like they are in the screen helmet. So I've measured this out and I'm cutting it with my scalpel. If you're using a scalpel, use a steel ruler and be bloody careful, because those are probably more dangerous than any other power tool you've got in your collection. You slip with one of those and yeah, you're in serious trouble. Okay, bit of super glue inside, and we're going to stick this on slowly. Start at the left and then stick it on all the way around, and just do it piece at a time, because otherwise you'll end up with folds and it won't look particularly good. Okay, with the first part done, let's just put some more super glue in there and just smooth it out nicely so we've got a nice flat adhesion to the inside of the helmet. Then the inside of the mandibles, Mandalorian, I don't know what you call them, the face slit bits. And with that glued down, I'm going to make a few adjustments. Going to use my scalpel to cut out the bits around the cheeks so there's no excess material in there. And then a little bit more super glue just to make sure that all the sections are stuck down. And I wouldn't advise putting the helmet on until the glue's dry, because you'll be high as a kite otherwise. Right, there we go. Now, let's quickly knock up some more 2-part epoxy, and we're going to attach the ear sections. I've already weathered these the same way I've weathered the helmet. Well, that was a fun 18 hours of sanding and building, and we've got this out of it. Oh, I love this so much. It's tough, it's shiny, it's got an awesome T-shaped visor, it's got a bit of netting so you can't see my face when I put it on. And it also makes my voice sound deep and manly. But yeah, this is very, very cool. I love making props and I love making helmets most of all, and this has turned out beautifully. I mean, yes, there are a few visible layer lines. Now, if you had another 20 or 30 hours to spend just doing nothing but sanding this, then yeah, you could make this look absolutely perfect. But for the amount of time I spent on it and the videos I've made with it, I am very, very happy with the way this has turned out. Learned a lot of lessons. One, if you stick things together precisely, it saves you a lot of pain and sanding later. So 5 minutes work at the start to make sure everything's lined up saves you about 20 hours sanding. And secondly, bit of weathering covers up all kinds of sins. If you've made yourself a prop helmet or any kind of prop, getting some black or very light brown acrylic paint, water it down, splash it all over it, wipe it off with a cloth, and it highlights all the details and all the sections you want people to look at. So yes, weather your props and these things turn out nicely. And yeah, I'm very, very happy with this. This is for a friend of mine, and hopefully he'll be as pleased with it as I am. So, from me, I'm the Mandalorian. Stay happy, stay safe, keep printing.